Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Stand By Me, a movie donation reward for Venom 0027. And the second one that he requested in this group, that's named after a song, I guess? Or maybe the song's named after it, I don't know. I know the first one was named after a song, and that was Lean On Me. And now this one is Stand By Me, and that's another song. So it's like, who sings Stand By Me? I actually don't remember offhand. Let me see if I can find out. Benny King, okay. It's, Benny King. Yeah, it's like, I really like the last one, too. I don't think they're related, though, because I think this is an older movie. I think this is, like, from the 80s, I want to say. But other than that, I don't really know anything about this film. But here's a fun fact for you. This past weekend, this past Sunday, my pastor mentioned this movie at church. I'm not even kidding you. That's actually what made me decide to get to this movie specifically this week. Because my pastor mentioned it. It's like, oh wait, that's on my list. It's like, okay, I gotta react to that this week then. And I didn't hear anything about it. He didn't go into details on what the movie's about or anything. So I don't know anything about this film's plot or whatnot. Or who's in it, or really much of anything. But he mentioned that it's a classic film, and I believe he said it was from the 80s. And he mentioned that he and his family, like, actually got to sit down as a family for the first time in a while and just spend some time together, and they watched the movie. So, yeah. And it got me, and it's just, that instantly came to my mind when I heard him talk about that this past Sunday at church. He was talking about his family during the service and all, and he's like, and it just made me instantly think, it's like, that's on my list from Venom. Well, I have to get to it now. I have no choice. It's Destiny movie. Yeah. But yeah, in all seriousness, I have no idea what this film's about at all. I don't know anything about the plot. I don't know anything about who's in it. I know the song. I know the song that I guess it's named after. So there's that. But I don't know anything about what this is. I doubt it's connected to Lean On Me. Because one, Lean On Me was based on a true story and everything, and so I just kind of doubt that there's any real connection there. But I don't even think there's necessarily going to be, like, I don't even know if it's the same director or anything. Like, maybe it is. Maybe that's the connection. I don't know. But I just think it just happens to be another movie that has a similar title that's also named after a song. I just think it's a funny coincidence, if anything. But hey, I might be wrong. It might be intentional. But yeah, I know nothing about this, like I said, so there's not really much to talk about going into it. And honestly, the title doesn't tell me much of anything. Stand By Me, it's like, that could be anything. That could be a war movie. That could be a family movie about friendship. It could be pretty much anything. Like, seriously. It's such a vague title, and it's just such a simple, like, concept of, like, asking someone to stand by you. It's like, it could mean anything. So, I don't know what to expect. But I'm definitely interested. Especially because my pastor mentioned it. I just find that funny. I'm probably, after I watch this, I'm probably going to post to Facebook that I saw this movie for the first time, and I'll probably tag him in it, see what he says about it. So that's just fun. It's just fun. But I'm hoping to like it, like I do with everything. And like I said, this is a donation reward from Venom. So yeah, just as a note. And if anyone wants to donate for a reaction in the future, for a movie, a series, a YouTube thing, feel free. The donations are always open. It's completely optional, so it's completely up to you if you want to or are even able to. It's completely optional. You'll be able to see all content on the channel no matter what. It just allows you to like choose something for me to react to, gets you a little more involved in the channel as well. And any donation, no matter how big or small, gets you a reward. Any donation will get you a reward. Just basically, I always tell people, donate as much as you can. As much as you're able and as much as you want to. It's completely your choice if you want to donate. But it's completely your choice on how much you do. But every donation does help. So anything is very much accepted and welcome. And again, if you're not able to, or if you just don't want to, that's completely fine as well. There will always be there will always be someone donating, I feel. So there's going to be plenty of reactions still coming for movies and YouTube stuff and not. Plenty of donation reactions shows and all. So you'll never have to worry about that. And even if those do slow down at any point, all other content on the channel will always be accessible. So no issue there. Just want to, push that a little bit there. But either way, we're just going to get into this and hope for the best. So when the screen fades black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the movie. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So yeah, I don't know, what the intended feeling for this film was supposed to be, from a viewer perspective. Are you supposed to find this funny? Are you supposed to find it charming? Are you supposed to... Is this a drama? What is the intended reaction that they're looking for from the viewer watching this? Because I can tell you my reaction. I can tell you what I thought of it. I fucking hated it. Oh my god, this was so uncomfortable, so painful, so absolutely unenjoyable. I would not... I do not think it would be hyperbole to say this is my least favorite Stephen King adaptation. I don't know the original work. I don't know, how much this differs from that, but oh my god. There was not a likable character in this. Not a single one of the characters was likable. Not one of the kids, not the quote-unquote teenagers, not the parents, no one. Everyone fucking sucked. Okay. Except for Denny, but he was already dead in the main story. We only saw him through 2 flashbacks, and that's pretty much it. And he was the only likable character. And on top of that, on top of the characters just being unlikable, showing kids smoking and holding guns and shit, it's again, I get this movie came out in the 80s. I understand it's set in the 50s. I still am so extremely uncomfortable and upset watching that kind of stuff. It bothers the shit out of me. It bothers the shit out of me, even knowing when this is set and everything. Seeing a kid hold a gun, seeing a kid, seeing kids smoking cigarettes and saying shit like cigarettes are always best after a meal and shit. It's this is not okay. The problem is they don't even paint it as being bad in the film. Not a single time do they paint these kids smoking as being a bad thing. And guess what? The gun too. The gun is being painted as being the thing that saved their asses in the end. Ooh, let's give that message. Let's give the message, whether intentional or not, that The gun was something that we wanted them to have. Ooh, because that's wonderful. On top of that, let's use a bunch of slurs just because it's set in the 50s, so we can get away with it, I guess. And one of the slurs in particular is so traumatic for me that it made me break down, because that's fun. Yeah, I enjoy this movie, but despite having had an actual emotional breakdown on camera, that's wonderful. It's fucking awesome. It doesn't make me upset at all. No. I'm sorry, I did not enjoy this at all. There was nothing, not a single thing about this that was enjoyable to me. Except the music. The music was the only good part of this entire film. And that's just because it's like, oh, they use popular music of the time period. That really doesn't help the movie necessarily. Like, the movie is obviously named after a famous song by Ben E. King, even though the book it's based on isn't. I don't know why they implemented that comparison. Especially since I guess it was kind of relevant in a way, but I don't know. It just, the tone of it felt off. But on top of that, it's like, why? What was the point of doing that? And I wasn't invested in the story. I wasn't invested in the characters or anything they were going through because they suck too. Like, yeah, a lot of their situations were terrible. They went through some terrible shit. Chris did something bad, tried to make it right, and was still put through shit for it. The one kid, his father is in prison, I guess, but he's still... And even despite his father having abused him and everything, he still looks up to him because his dad fought in war and stormed Normandy or whatnot. Then we have our main kid who is missing his older brother who died and everything, and his parents are ignoring him at best and being emotionally abusive at worst, and so on and so on and so forth. All these characters, these kids have some pretty sad backstories and all, but that doesn't excuse them from being assholes. They're fucking assholes the entire time. They're pieces of shit. They're terrible to each other. With friends like that, who needs enemies, right? They're horrible to each other. And when you have main characters of a film, you're supposed to, unless the point of the movie is that everyone's supposed to be terrible, which I do not think is what they were going for here. Your main characters are supposed to be likable. Unless the main characters are the bad guys and the good guys are like the other characters in there, but you know what I mean. For the most part, and especially for a movie centering around main characters who are kids, they're supposed to be likable. They're supposed to be charming. They're supposed to be fun. They're supposed to be, kids. None of that was in here. They were detestable. They were little shits. They were absolutely terrible to each other. I could never imagine being like that to a friend. How can anyone think that's an okay thing? How could you ever even consider treating a friend like that? Oh my God. I can tell you, if I ever had a friend who treated me like that, they wouldn't be my friend anymore. And again, the breakdown part, I apologize for having to pause the movie a couple times and just really having to stop and everything, but that slur is, as I said during the reaction, is something that I was very actively called when I was growing up, being overweight for most of my life. It was something that was used against me, not only to just taunt and tease me, but in the context of, like, you know, I would be physically assaulted at the same time that they would do that. I would be kicked, I would be punched, I would be tripped, I would be bullied, just simply put. And so seeing these characters say the name, say the word, the slur over and over and over, and especially with them fucking showing the story that he's telling, that Gordy is telling, showing the story and showing this kid being actively, like, taunted and everything with the slur by all these adults and all these people around him, and it's like treating him like shit, physically abusing him, like, on screen and everything. It's like, why would you show this? Why would you show this? This is not okay. This is not comfortable. This is I couldn't deal with it because of personal experiences, because of personal traumas with it, because it's something that I not only heard at school, but my own father would call me that. I'm not even kidding. It broke me, and it hurt me. And I like, the amount of pain I was in was so harsh that I legitimately, I needed to stop. I needed to stop the reaction. I needed to pause the video because I was having trouble breathing. It got to that point. I broke down and I was having trouble breathing. I had to, like, you probably noticed, I was trying to do some deep breathing because I was trying to calm myself down. I was really bad. It's genuinely one of the worst experiences I have ever had recording a video. I'm not even kidding you. It was scary. It was genuinely scary how much pain I was in. Not just emotional, but physical even. It was actually physically affecting me. And that pretty much never happens watching something. Even when I watch something and obviously it's very terrible, or there's terrible stuff in it that I hate, and things that make me very upset, it usually doesn't have an effect like this on me. And this is the second fucking thing I recorded today that did this to me too. So fun. Though the other one wasn't as bad. This one was much worse, but I also recorded today a snarled video, the final video for the snarled reactions I had to do, the donation reward reactions for that, and there was part of that really made me, like, that really made me cry and everything, but that didn't, like, affect me in the way that this affected me. Like, this one actually really affected me and really just physically caused me a lot of pain, and just it wasn't good. I was not okay, and I wasn't okay for a good portion of time after that. And I'm back to, I guess, normal, you could say, right now. I'm breathing more normally again. My heart's still going a little quick, though it has slowed back down a bit. I'm able to keep myself calm at the moment and everything. But it's still just, even thinking about it is really upsetting. Because, again, of personal experience here, and it's just, like, I've had things remind me of traumas in the past and everything, but that really hit hard for that. That really just struck into that trauma and just drowned me in it. And it's like, and some people might say, like, oh, that's you connecting with the movie or anything, or the characters or whatnot. And that part was shown to be bad. Like, that, it was shown that was wrong, that this kid was being called that. But the fact that they kept saying it, not only the characters in the story, but even Gordy telling it, kept using that name to refer to him instead of his actual name, that's what got me the worst. And it's just like, because they were basically replacing his name with that slur. And it's, again, having experienced that personally, it really hit me in a way that I was not expecting. And again, while some people might say, oh, that's a good effect of the film, that was again one of the worst experiences I have ever had, if not the worst I've ever had recording something. Like I said, I legitimately was having trouble breathing. I was scared. I was absolutely mortified. I was just completely heartbroken and emotionally destroyed. It was one of the worst feelings in the world. And that's something that I've stood by before, that having trouble breathing is one of the worst feelings in the world to me. Having experienced it, like when I've had colds and stuff and my nose has been stuffed up, I've had trouble breathing, like trying to go to sleep and everything, and it scares the shit out of me. And it's so, even to the point where it's like, those memes where it's like it shows the guy who does like the refrigerator commercials or something, but it's like it's just a video of all the gasps and breaths he takes and all. And it is the most anxiety inducing thing I have ever watched in my life. I am not even kidding you. It legitimately makes me lock up. It is that upsetting to me, because it makes me feel like I'm dying. I'm not even just listening to that makes me feel like I'm dying. I've watched multiple like meme reaction videos, and anytime that pops up, I legitimately have to skip past it, because if I don't, I'm going to like freak out. So I was really not in a good place there. Um, because again, it's just like I felt like I was having trouble breathing. I was already just extremely emotionally upset because of the context of it all. It's just like everything, and on top of this, on top of it, I already wasn't enjoying the film. I already by that point was just not enjoying the movie. So it's like already by that, I'm just like, in complete wave of pain and upsetness, and it's just, and I'm not blaming Venom. I want to say that right off the bat. I'm not going to blame Venom for choosing this. You probably did not know I was going to have this reaction, especially this heavy of a reaction. I'm not blaming you. I don't blame you at all for it. Just I want to make that clear. Um, just I almost want to say, if you request a movie like this again, which you can, but if you do, just please warn me ahead of time that, like, if you request this movie, don't say like what the spoilers are. Just say that you might want to be careful watching this. Just something like that, something vague, but still tells me that I might need to keep my guard up, because I was so caught off guard by that, and I think that's why my reaction was so intense, and why it, like, again, why I was having trouble breathing, why it was that bad for me. Um, because I think it was just so unexpected and so out of nowhere, and it's like at first, like when they first started saying it, it's like it's already to the point where I'm just like getting really upset, but they keep saying it, keep hammering it in, and then they're showing it visually, and it became way too much, way too quick, and it just I broke. It's like there was a specific moment where I just completely broke, and it's like a dam just falling apart and letting that entire wave of water through, and it's just like I lost it. I broke down. I had an emotional breakdown. And again, if I was more prepared for it, it would not have been that intense. And again, I'm not blaming you, Venom. I very much want to make that clear. I assume you very much did not know that this would do this to me. But again, if there's another movie you request or whatnot that you think might be like this, just at least warn me that I might need to prepare myself for it. That's all I ask. You can keep requesting movies like this, but as long as you tell me I need to prepare myself for it, then I'll be ready for it, and I'll understand that something's going to happen in there, that might upset me, and I'll be prepared for it. I'll have my guard up. I'll be able to handle it, at least a lot better. But yeah, it's just I'm sorry if that broke the immersion of the reaction or whatever. But wow, it hit hard, and it really, like, again, I was already not enjoying the film. I was already just really not liking the movie. But wow, that just pretty much guaranteed that I will never watch this movie again. I will never give it a single chance again. I will never even try. Because it was so painful for me that it's I feel it's kind of embedded into my trauma now. That might sound like an overreaction to some people, but if you've experienced legitimate trauma and emotional pain that has carried over for literal decades of your life, you'll hopefully understand where I'm coming from. So yeah, I'm sorry I didn't like this, but again, even beyond just that moment for me, I didn't find anything enjoyable or likable about the movie, the plot, the characters, anything really. It's very much not my thing. Let's just put it that way. Because there's choice words I could use for this, but I'm going to be nice. I'm just telling you my thoughts. If you like this movie, that's perfectly fine. But this movie legitimately bothered me to degrees that I honestly don't want to visit again, especially without knowing. Again, if I'm prepared for a movie like that, then at least I'll be prepared for it. But geez. But don't let this stop you, Venom, or anyone else from donating in the future. Because, as I always say, honestly, you never know. You never know with me. I never know with me. It's always pretty much impossible to tell whether I'm going to like a movie ahead of time or not. Unless it's just very clearly, like, based, or it's very clearly similar in style or tone or whatnot to other things that I've already knowingly liked. So if you if you think of something and it's like, oh, this is kind of like this other thing that Connie liked on the channel, then it's like, then I'll probably like it, at least to some degree. But if it's something that you're not sure about, I mean, still suggest it, still request it. But who knows, basically, if I'll like it or not. It's just kind of up in the air for me. There have been some things that I thought I would like and I didn't. There have been plenty of things that I thought I wouldn't like and I did. So it's always kind of up in the air. But either way, thank you so much to Venom for donating nonetheless. Like I said, I don't blame you for this. In fact, I'm still thankful for your donation and for you suggesting this. And hell, I can at least say I've seen the movie now. So there's that. But in the meantime, tell me your thoughts down below. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.